Good morning, grade 8. Welcome back to today's lesson. I hope you all got a good night's rest, especially after the assessment of yesterday. So we are going to look at the marking of the assessment, but let's just start by greeting each other in the chat box. You guys must please have your assessment that you have done yesterday. You must please have it ready. We are going to work through it and we're going to mark it as well. Remember what I've said yesterday, I will get it on my side and then I'm also going to mark it, but also we work through it today so you can see where your mistakes is. And then you also at the same time mark it on your side. And then by the end of the lesson, you're going to give your marks through and then I will compare it with my marks to see if your marking was 100% or not. With the marking, okay, so you need to listen every time with each question, how many marks it count and how you need to get the marks for. Right, so let's start by looking at the assessment and the memorandum of it. And we start with question 1. Question 1 was for 10 marks. It was saying use the information below to compile a statement of net worth for Tabo's Tavern on the end of July 2010. Only the 1.1 was counting 8 marks, and then the other 2 marks will go towards 1.2. But let's just first take the 1.1. So there was stock on hand, building, long-term loan, cash in the bank, accounts payable, vehicles, owner's capital, and profit. Right, so I'm going to move between this slide and the next slide where the answers will be. Okay, so if we look already at the first one, so we're going to draw up a statement of net worth, and first one is going to be stock on hand of 105,000. Right, so go and check. So when it is a statement of net worth, then you need to define. It's no need to draw up a table like this, but if you have done it, good. But otherwise, you just have to define between what is assets and liabilities. So you will see on the left-hand side, I've listed the assets. So the stock on hand of 105,000 is an asset. Okay, you can see it, you can touch it, it's having a value. So that will be with assets. Right, the next one was a building of 455,000. So the 455,000 for the building is also going to be an asset because the building, you can see it and you can touch it. Okay, so for how are you going to give the marks? You're going to give for stock on hand 105,000 1 mark if it's with assets, and building 455,000 1 mark if it is under assets. Okay, Lizanne, I see we're a little bit late. We just started to mark the assessment, so I hope you have it ready with you with a pen. So we are just at the beginning of question 1, where it is the statement of net worth that we're going to mark. So if you have stock on hand of 105,000, 1 mark there under assets, and the same with building of 450,000, 1 mark under assets. Right, the next one is long-term loan of 400,000. Okay, a loan is a liability. So under liabilities, there you must have in the loan of 400,000. So 1 mark for that. The next one is cash in bank of 16,500. All right, that will go under assets because the cash in the bank is having a money value. Again, you can see it, you can touch it. So cash in bank will fall under assets, 16,500, one more. The next one is accounts payable of 75,000. Okay, accounts payable. So that will fall under liability because you need to pay that. Okay, so accounts payable under liability, 75,000 and one mark there. Vehicles of 42,000, that's an asset. It's having a money value. You can see it, you can touch it. So under assets, vehicles of 42,000, one mark. Owner's capital of 110,000. Okay, capital, it's a money value that there is. So that will fall under your assets part. So, sorry, assets, capital 110,000, another mark. And then the last one in the list is a profit of 45,750. That will also go because profit is money, so it will fall under the assets. So under assets, profit 45,750, another mark there. And now you can count. That will give you 8 marks in total. So every time that you define the item under assets or liabilities with the correct amount, that will give you 1 mark. And if you add it up to then, that will give you 8 marks. Okay, I will stick at the end a few seconds on this slide so you can finish marking on question 1. I just want to finish up question 1.2. 1.2 was saying, pretend you are the accountant of the business and you have to report on the financial status of the business for a potential buyer of the business. Write a short paragraph in which you explain the statement of net worth to the potential buyer. The potential buyer does not understand accounting concepts for 2 marks. So not a very long story. Basically, let's say in 2 sentences, you need to explain what was happening in 1.1.1 in the statement of net worth. And as I said, the potential buyer does not understand accounting concepts, so you need to keep it very simple at the end of the day. Right, you could have said something like, your total assets, and look there if you have counted it there to get the total at the top, total assets is 774,250. While your total liabilities is 475,000. Your assets equity is more than the liabilities, and that is a good thing for the business. So as soon as your assets is more than your liabilities, that's a good thing. It means the business is making good profit and is a healthy business. Right. If you have compared the 2 totals with each, regarding the total assets and the total liabilities, then you can give 1 mark there. And then if you have said anything about that the assets is more than the liabilities, then another mark. So there's already 2 marks. Or if you have said again that the assets is more than the liabilities, 1 mark. And if you say they were making a profit and it's very good for the business, another mark. So there is again 2 marks. Okay, so out of what you see there in front of you with 1.2, as long as you have all those things or most of each, then you are supposed to give yourself 2 marks there. Right, so if you need to explain the net worth to somebody, then you basically compare the total assets to the total liabilities. The assets must always be more than the liabilities. Then the business is making a profit, and that is a good thing. Right, I'm going to stick a few seconds on this slide so you can just finish marking question 1. If you have any questions on question 1, please ask in the box. Okay, there's a question that said with the explanation of 1.2, somebody used the formula on how to get it, or how, but see, the formula is actually also comparing the assets with the liability, so that's fine. You can, if you only give the formula, then you can give yourself 1 mark there. Okay, but if you have said something with the formula to say that it's a good thing or that the assets is more, then you can give the 2nd mark there. But if you have only given the formula, 1 mark. Right, I'm going to move on. So please, if you're not done, you need to indicate that to me. Eh? Right, there's question 2, 10 marks. Okay, let's take each of them. There was 5 questions. All 5 of them are counting, it looks like 2 marks each. Right, 2.1 is saying, discuss what you know about the role of trade unions. So it's all about the role of trade unions. Okay, let me first go through the answer. Trade unions are independent membership-based organizations of workers that represent and negotiate on behalf of working people. They give advice when their members have problems at work, represent members in discussions with employers, and help improve wages and working conditions by negotiating with employers. Right, remember I've tried to give a very wide description here of trade unions. If it's 2 marks, so you basically need to mention 2 things of trade unions. So if you have said something about it is an organization that is of working people, then you can give yourself 1 mark there. And then the other mark will go where they are helping workers with problems, or with employers, try to see how their working conditions is, help them to get better wages or salaries. So any of those ones, then you can give yourself another mark there. Okay, so it's 2.1 is about the trade of the role of trade unions. 2 marks, so you need to mention 2 things. The one can be if you mention about to say it is an independent organization of workers. And another mark will be when what the trade union is doing, like helping the workers with working conditions to get better wages, when they are maybe in trouble with the employers, etc. 2.2, explain what savings are. Saving is income not spent or deferred consumption. Methods of saving include putting money aside in, for example, a deposit account, a pension account, an investment fund, or as cash. So, right, for 2 marks, explain what savings is. If you said something to put money aside for future use, you can give yourself 1 mark there. If you have said you're not supposed to touch it, okay, you can give yourself another mark there. Or if you have said it is all the money that you get, you want to save it, another mark. If you've mentioned how you can save it, like deposit the money into a bank account or having an investment or whatever, something like that, you can give another mark. Okay, so we're playing a little bit around here with this one. With 2.2, explain what savings are for 2 marks. I definitely want actually 1 mark to say where you put money aside for future use. Okay, that's 1 mark. If you don't touch it, or the way that you're going to save it by putting it in a deposit account, in investment, anything like that. As I said, if you're not sure, please ask. Right, so with 2.2, it was savings, and now when we get to 2.3, it is explain what investment is. Okay, for 2 marks, explain what investment is. To invest is to allocate money in the expectation of some benefit in the future. So investment is when you invest money in something like buying an asset, like a vehicle, for instance, because you can sometime in the future, you can sell it again and then you basically get your money back. So that is then you invest in the vehicle. So that is what an investment is. So if you have said something that by buying an asset like a vehicle, you can give yourself a 1 mark. And if you have said that you can benefit from it in the future or that you can sell it and get your money back, there's another mark. Two point four, why and how do people invest their money for retirement? Okay, specific for retirement. Okay, I've put quite a few there, but again, you can pick and choose any two. They say get an investment that is right for you. They can put it in a fixed deposit where they say South Africa earns the best investment rate and guaranteed returns at a fixed interest rate. So I've just basically give you with the fixed deposit an explanation as well. Or they can do notice deposits. That is when you earn a market leading rates with a choice of notice periods to access. Or you can make use of the access accumulated. That is when you earn a market leading rate that increases monthly with any time access. Or you could have said tax-free investment and a market leading rate and get non-taxable returns in your anniversary month. Okay, with this question, remember, what was the question? Why and how do people invest their money for retirement? So it must have to do specific with retirement. When people is 1 day old, okay, how do they invest the money when they are 1 day old to get that money? Okay, for 2 marks, so you need to mention 2 things. I have put a long list there. If you have any of those 2, you can give yourself 2 marks there. As I said, I've put basically a heading with an explanation of each one. So either you can give a heading or the explanation to get the marks. I think you might have some questions about this one. So if you're not sure about 2.4, please ask in the box. Okay, we'll stick now again on the slide, but let me just finish 2.5. Why is the risk in savings smaller than the risk in investments? For 2 marks, savings is a constant option, while investment, your money is set in different risk portfolios, where the risk can be small, medium, or large. Okay, if you have said something like with savings, normally it is smaller amounts that you save than what you put into an investment, okay? Because then your savings, the risk will be smaller with savings because it's a smaller amount. You can give yourself 1 mark there. And then if you have mentioned about that the investment is happening in different risk profiles of small, medium, and large, then you can give yourself another mark there. So what do they mean with that? Okay, I did mention that before. With investments, they put it in different risk portfolios, your money. So let's say you are investing 500,000, then they will instance take 200,000 and they will put it in a small risk profile. So then you don't really lose any money on that. But some of it, let's say another 200,000, they will put it in a large or in a high risk profile. So the chance might be good that you might first lose some money before you're going to start making some money. So it is just with investment, that there is a good risk that you can maybe lose more money than what you will within savings, because you are investing more money and it's in different risk profiles. Okay, I just want to see here what's going on in the chat box. Okay, somebody's saying, I said that for savings is for short-term goals and investment or for long-term goals. Okay, that is with 2.5. Let me just see. Yeah, you know what? I'll give yourself 1 mark on that one. Okay, you are absolutely correct, but I do want a little bit more, especially regarding those risk profiles thing. So you can give yourself for that one 1 mark. Right, so I'm just going to stick a few seconds on question 2 on this slide so you can finish up marking on this one. Right, I'm going on to question 3 now. So again, just please say if I need to come back again to question 2 if you're not done yet. Right, so there is question 3. Question 3 is counting 10 marks. Let's start with 3.1, sorry. 3.1 is saying list 5 possessions you can find in a typical home in the area where you live for 5 marks. So you need to mention 5 things to get the 5 marks. So I've put a few there, like possessions. Possessions, remember, is things that you can see and touch, having a value. So it's actually assets that you need to mention there to me. So that is house, vehicle, furniture, equipment, table and chairs, and sound systems. Okay, in the meantime, look there at the question. Right, I stick a while so you can continue marking a little bit on your own because some people are a little bit faster than other people. I will now look at the questions in the box. Let me just do 3.2 in the meantime. So they say there, when you borrow money from a friend, what do you call the money that you have to pay back? For 2 marks? Okay, there's no other answer there to give, and the answer is debt. So you must write the debt to get the 2 marks. So again, when you borrow money from a friend, okay, what do you call that money that you need to pay back? Because if you borrow money, you need to pay money back, and we call that debt. Okay, I'm just looking in the meantime in the chat box. Hi, Amo. Really, does a pet count as a possession? All right. Oh, okay. Let's take that as the joke for today. Yeah, maybe you can say that, but let's stick rather to things, hey, that we better known as assets in your home. Okay. And what pet is that? I don't hope it is a dog. A dog is not supposed to be in the home. The dog is supposed to be outside, eh? So, but just a joke on that one. Um, I can actually sometimes laugh to you guys, but I must tell you, I'm actually enjoying you guys. Right, Lizanne was saying cell phone, doll, books, bed, money. Let me just see. Yeah, that is correct. So you can give yourself the full 5 marks there. And then there was another question for 3.3.1. I said deposit slip. Okay. With question 3.3.1 and 3.3.2, just hang on with those questions. I will get back now to you as soon as we get into that. Okay. Right. So if we look at question 3.3, identify the source document involved with each of the following transactions. With 3.3.1, Sally buys a second-hand sewing machine for a sewing business from the pawn shop. She pays with a check. Okay. I'm actually already giving you the answer there. Because if she's paying with a check, then the only source document can be a check or the check counterfoil. So any of those two, you can give yourself 1 mark there. Because Sally buys a sewing machine, okay, and she pays immediately with a check, with nothing else. So it can't be a deposit slip, okay? She is writing out a check. So actually no money is involved, no cash money is involved if she's writing out the check. Then with 3.3.2, Kulisa goes to the bank to deposit the day's takings or the day's money to deposit. So that will be a deposit slip. Okay. Again, if I was looking in the chat box, you said cash. Okay, no. Your cash is involved, but I was asking for the source document. Cash is not a source document, okay, but a deposit slip is a source document. All right, so be careful. Look at the question. If I ask source document, then I want specific things like receipt, deposit slip, check counterfoil, etc. And then with 3.3.3, Madeleine sends the driver to deliver flowers to a client. The terms are cash on delivery. Okay, so that means the driver is taking the flowers to somebody, and cash on delivery means as soon as that person is getting the flowers, he must pay immediately his money, his cash. So then the driver or the delivering guy will write out a receipt to that client as proof of payment. So with question 3.3, there is nothing else as what you see in front of you. So with point 1, it's either check or check counterfoil. Point 2, deposit slip. Point 3, receipt. All right, just a few seconds still on this one if there's any questions. Right, if you're done, there is something else on the next slide that I quickly again want to do with you. It's another statement of net worth that I want us to talk through. But in the meantime, when you're done marking, add up your totals, please, for me. And let's just see, remember, I will come back now to the slide. Question 1 was 10 marks. Question 2 was 10 marks. And question 3 is 10 marks. So it's a total out of 30. Total out of 30. So when you're done, add up everything and get a total out of 30. Okay, Alma, you were asking, can you write CRJ? I think you mean by 3.3.3. No, because CRJ is not a source document, it's a journal. So only source document is a receipt with 3.3.3. Okay, so I'm just still giving a few seconds so you can finish up counting. And then if you're done, put just in the chat box. Again, remember, I can't every time see maybe all the names. So just put your name and then the total, what you have out of 30, because I, as I said, want to go and compare it with my things. It is out of 30. Question 1 was 10 marks, question 2, 10 marks, and question 3, 10 marks. So it's a total out of 30. So again, when you finish marking, get your total of the 3 questions out of 30 and put it for me with your name, please, in the chat box. Oh, sorry, guys, my mistake there. You are about 11 that is attending today, and only 2 people have sent their marks. So please, if you're done, add up, get total out of 30 and put it in the chat box with your name, please. Right, as I'm waiting for the rest of you to put your marks there for me in the box, I'm just going to show you this last slide of today. It has nothing to do with assessment, just another activity regarding the statement of net worth, because this is sometimes a little bit of a strange thing for you guys, so we can look at it. Okay, I don't worry too much about question 1 there, but talking about question 2, they say there that you need to use the following list supplied by Mr. David Jones, and then you need to set up a statement of net worth. As I said, I just want us to talk through it. So you will see there is a savings account, clothes, watch, soccer boots, soccer ball, PlayStation and games, a hi-fi set, CDs, money owed to the hi-fi supplier, loan from his father. And then under that of number 1, they say they categorize the list above into assets and liabilities. Okay, so because when you do a statement of net worth, you put all the assets on the one side and all the liabilities on the other side. Okay, so let's see what is the assets. Savings account of 850 Rand is an asset. Okay, it's money value. You can see it, you can touch it. Clothes is an asset of 3,000 Rand. The watch is an asset of 275 Rand. The soccer boots are an asset of 440 Rand. The soccer ball is an asset of 145 Rand. So far, everything is assets. PlayStation and games of 5,450 is an asset. The hi-fi set of 2,000 Rand is an asset. Your series of 300 Rand is an asset. And then it says money owed to the hi-fi supplier. Money owed, so that's a liability of 1,200 Rand. And the loan from his father is also a liability of 850 Rand. So basically, you're going to put all of them from savings account till up to CDs. They are all assets on the one side. And then, the last two is liabilities on the other side. You get the totals of the two sides. You subtract it from each other. Okay, and there's your statement of net worth. And what is important, what you need maybe to give feedback on that statement of net worth is that your assets must always be more than your liabilities. If so, then it's a good thing for the business, it's a healthy business, and the business is making a profit at the end of the day. So this was just another example I've put in there for you of a statement of net worth. Right, I'm still waiting for marks, people. Really, come on, put it in the box. You can send it privately to me so no one else can see it. Remember, if you're not going to send your marks, then I'm sorry to say, then I'm going to subtract 20% as the school has given us permission to do. It is out of 30, okay, out of 30. I've just said that the total somebody was asking, it is out of 30. So what I said was regarding the 20%, the school was giving us permission that if you didn't do the assessment or you were sending it late, that we can subtract marks, okay, 20% marks. So that is why I'm saying if I don't receive the marks now in the chat box, and you can send it privately to me so no one else can see it, then because then I cannot compare it. So then I'm going to subtract 20%. So yeah, Lizanne, I haven't received a mark from you yet, so I need a mark. Komolemo, can you just indicate to me, because you have basically sent me two marks now, so I'm not sure which one you are thinking is the correct one. Can you just send again for me, Komolemo, please? Oh, sorry. Okay, Lizanne, sorry. That's why I'm always say to put the name and the things together, because or maybe you're doing it from your mother's the phone or laptop, and so then I don't know what the names always is going to be. All right, so sorry, I've got yours thing. Okay, Natalie, just message me privately what you're not sure of. Okay, will just hang on for a few seconds. Natalie, just indicate to me privately in the box what you're not sure of. Jana said, I think you can hear my throat is a little bit clingy today. All right, but guys, otherwise, I will look in the chat box for the next few seconds still. We are then done for today. So thank you very much for those marks that I have received. You guys can go then, and then as I said, I will stick on a little bit in the chat box. And don't worry, no, Lesedi, I don't have COVID, so don't stress about that one, okay? All right, guys, see you tomorrow then. Goodbye.